So happy morning to everyone. Once again, we are here to fall in love with OET. It's not something like practice, but we would like to call a journey that is thrilling and enjoyable. And let's travel together. Don't take it as a session, but we'll just go on a journey, enjoying, questioning others, how to frame a question and all those things. If you're watching this on YouTube, kindly give us a thumbs up if you like the work, and please do subscribe and share to others so that everybody benefits from it. We are able to reach out maximum, especially those who are poor and struggling in a lot of ways to get through OET. So this is our mission, to support those people who are the least and the struggling and the poor and marginalized, who cannot reach or pass OET or get through the OET because of financial reasons or other struggles. So let me share my screen. Okay, am I visible? The screen?
Yes, Father.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. So as usual, everybody kindly mute your audio. The admin or manager, somebody can respond to me if need be, if I'm not audible. Until then, if you need to come back to any of the slides, you can just jot down, take a pen and paper and try to write down. Maybe screenshots are fine, but then much better to take the notes. That will help you a lot to grasp the whole thing. Yes. So OET 2.0 speaking question format. The asking questions, the key skills that we are going to deal with today. And the content of today's webinar is why asking questions, information gathering framework. You know, information gathering is one of the major segments or important aspects of speaking subtest in OET. So there is a reason we need to know questions. So we'll be looking into types of questions. Then we'll be looking into 3 question types to be used in the speaking subtest. 4, we'll be looking into question types not to be used in the speaking subtest. Then syntax, the word order in a question format or the syntax. Need 6, need for comprehensive quality practice. And 7th one, tips for competency. Okay, that is the content of today's. As you know, the nurse card, the card you get in speaking, gives around 3 or 4, 5 tasks. As of now, in 2.4, the transformed segment of OET, you have more tasks to be completed, and it makes it easier. And the task 1 normally is ask what he knows about the stroke, or what she knows about the strokes, or what she knows about the disease condition. Okay, any condition, what the patient knows about the disease, or whatever the questions you want to ask. First task is to ask. Then you have explain, reassure, empathize, and advise. Okay, there is a spelling mistake, don't worry. So initially, what we have to do is use of open-ended questions followed by closed-ended questions. I'm going to give you a glance into the question types. Then we'll be going into the question format, how to frame questions. This I'm doing today because this is the most often requested concern in the Mentors Hour. Many have repeatedly asked me how to ask questions is an issue for them. Okay, so for example, how are you feeling? Okay, what do you know about strokes, or whatever the condition you can say. I have taken strokes, one example, or pain I have taken. So for usually we start with open-ended questions, then you can continue followed by closed-ended questions. So for example, open-ended means what do you know about strokes? Means the patient is free to speak. Open-ended. Open-ended is the opening of the patient, facilitating opening of the patients, or allowing him to speak in detail, him or her. How are you feeling? How are you feeling means you can say so many things, a lot of things you can speak about these problems or symptoms or sufferings, all those things. Tell me about your family. So he's free to speak a lot. Tell me about your pain. Okay, he can speak a lot about pain. So those are the open-ended questions. Coming to closed-ended questions. Now, where is the pain? Exactly, you are asking for a location. The patient will have to say where is the pain, or show where is the pain. Do you have any pain at the moment? Yes or no? That's why I call it closed-ended questions, and more detailed answers are not expected there. Are you married? Yes or no? Okay, that's a closed-ended question. So you are over-medicating, right? So you have to make a statement and ask him right or wrong. He has to say yes, right, or wrong, yes. Okay. That's a simple idea. So what do you think might be causing your dizziness? That is an open-ended question. Allow freedom to express to the patient or the patient party. So you seem a little uncomfortable about reducing your medication. Is that right? That is a closed-ended question. So you're supposed to say right or wrong, yes or no. Okay. I'm giving you some examples, then I'll come back to. Now, open-ended questions can be transformed into closed-ended questions as well. Okay. It can be used in either way. It is better to know both the ways. So open-ended question is, what do you know about strokes? Okay. Or closed-ended questions is, where is the pain? So these are the, how are you feeling? Do you have any pain at the moment? Closed-ended. Tell me about your family. Are you married? The same question is, tell me about your family. Are you married? It's about family. Can you, sorry for the interruption. Can you come next week on Tuesday for your follow-up? That's the open-ended question that could be asked in closed-ended question type. When are you available for your follow-up appointment? So this both questions feel same. What do you know about strokes, or where is the pain? That is a closed-ended. How are you feeling? Do you have any pain at the moment? There's a closed-ended question. Tell me about your family. Are you married? So these are the two types of questions. Can you come next week on Tuesday for your follow-up? When are you available for your follow-up appointment? When means immediately they have to say Tuesday or day after tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday. So closed-ended questions give no chance of detailed explanation. Yes or no answer is expected, whereas open-ended questions allows the patient or the patient caretaker to speak in detail. Yeah. Do you exercise regularly? Is open-ended. Tell me about how much physical activity do you get daily? Okay. Now, probing questions. One more type of questions where you can, which you can use in your speaking is probing questions. This is the aim is to gain more information to facilitate patient's response. Though you have asked an open-ended questions, or after your closed-ended questions, you can ask for gain more information by asking probing questions, or probes we call it. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that? When the patient is speaking on something about the pain or something, then you can ask, how do you feel about that? Or is there anything that I left out? Is there anything that I left out? Would you like to add anything to that? Is there anything that alleviates your pain? And how long have you had these problems? So these are the probes. We call it probes or probing questions, you can say if you want. Yeah. So to gain more details. Don't worry, I'm coming back to the way how to ask questions. And this is only background, I tell you. Today's main focus is how to frame questions. So question, do not use multiple questions or compound questions. Both mean same. And do not use leading questions. Leading questions usually doesn't give the patient patient freedom to answer properly what they want. Okay. Don't use compound or leading questions. Avoid compound questions. For example, so you are worried about taking too much medication and the possible side effects. Okay, sentence joined together by fanboys, you know, the conjunctions, fanboys, you know, those 7 conjunctions. Must not use compound questions. Sentences used by conjunctions should not be asked in the speaking subtest. Okay. That's because that will confuse the patient. Okay, now question multiple compound questions. How do you feel this morning? Did you get enough sleep last night and enough to eat for breakfast? Compound question, 3 questions compiled together. This should not be happening. Okay, where do you live and how many people live with you? So which question is the patient is supposed to answer? When you ask 2 or 3 questions, they will be confused regarding the answer. So never ever use multiple questions or compound questions. Ask simple question, then after the response, go to the next question. Did stress, traveling, or something else cause the problem? So these are the various multiple ways to use multiple questions. Multiple ways to use multiple questions or compound questions. So either you can put comma or hyphen, then here comma, then or conjunction is used. So don't use this type of questions in your speaking subtest. What have you been eating this past month? How much do you eat at one time? How often do you eat? So here you have used conjunctions and commas, but here continuously they are asking 3 questions at a stretch. Never do that. Ask 1 question, then give a pause, let the patient or the patient party speak, answer the question, then go to the next question. Yes, do not use these types, multiple types or compound questions not to be used. Now, how can you transform these compound questions or multiple questions into the leading or open-ended questions? So how do you feel this morning? Did you get enough sleep last night and enough to eat for breakfast? You can just transform them into simple questions like, how do you feel this morning? Okay, the first part of the question. Then let the patient answer. After the response, again you ask, how did you sleep last night? Second part of this compound question. Okay, and then how was breakfast this morning? The third part of this multiple question type. Okay, that can be put into, transformed into 3 simple questions. Okay, where do you live and how many people live with you? That's a compound question or multiple question. That can be transformed into, tell me about your living situation. Okay, did stress, traveling or something else cause the problem? Okay, what do you think? What do you think caused the problem? Okay, that is transformed into, instead of saying, did stress, traveling or something else cause the problem? You ask, what do you think caused the problem? Next. What have you been eating this past month? How much do you eat at one time? How often do you eat? Okay. What have you been eating this past month? How much do you eat at one time? How often do you eat? So these 3 questions, transform them into a simple question. Tell me about your eating habits this past month. So he can explain. All these 3 questions could be answered by the patients when he speaks in detail. Yes. So this is the way we transform multiple questions into the normal questions. Yes. So also do not use leading questions. Lead the patient towards a particular answer. Leading questions means you are supposed the patient is made to answer in a particular way. So there is no freedom for the one second. Yes. There is no freedom for the patient. He has to answer in a particular way, yes or no, as you lead the patient to answer in that particular manner. You are not eating well, are you? Means you are supposed to, the patient is supposed to say, yes, I don't eat well, or I am not eating well. So that's called a leading question. That's not supposed to be asked. You can transform leading question into other healthy questions. Have you noticed any change to your appetite? Have you noticed any change to your appetite? That is the way to ask. So avoid leading questions. Okay, there are many other ways. Just to, if you are not understanding these things properly, I'm not going into detail, because if you go into my previous session video, speaking step by step, I have given in detail all these things. Now I am just glancing over it so that when we come to the question formation aspect, we'll be able to understand better. So there are other types of things, clarifying vague statements, clarifying information that is unclear. Sorry, I missed what you said there about nervousness. Could you repeat that, please? Okay. So making a statement, then you ask a question, clarifying. Okay. Summarizing information also, you need to ask something. So, right. Okay. So far as I understand, you said X, Y, and Z. Means you said this one, and this one. Right? So that's a way of asking a question.